When they go from 10 at night to 4 in the morning, I have to leave at 2 in order to get up for packs at 6 o'clock the next morning. Let me tell you, from 2 to 4, all hell broke loose in that week. Okay, a lot of these skaters know about the Car-orama. Some of them in this room had something to do with it. Isn't that right, Scott? And I was really minding my own business. At 2 o'clock, I left, and I went home. Well, that was a signal for something to happen. The next thing I know, I hear that the Zamboni was out on the golf course, and all their cars were on the ice. They were doing, yeah, there's Todd Wagner here. Because most of the cars were like Rocky Marbles was a beautiful car. Peter Carruthers had a beautiful car. And then came Todd Wagner, who was beat up old bomber. And they did all kinds of figures on the ice with their cars. The trouble was they did donuts, they did figure eights, but Johnny John somehow managed to do a Krella and went straight into the boards and hit the board straight on with his car. Well, of course, the next morning I get a call from the board and about the problems that happened. I had no idea at that point what had happened, but that's just typical. And then there's another gentleman sitting in this room. His name is Jeff Nolt. Now, I leave the building at 2 in the morning again, and I go up, sit in my car, and I turn the key on, and my radio went on. There was some news I wanted to hear. So I'm listening. And the next thing I noticed, all the lights in the rink went off. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? I didn't say heck. But I just waited. Then all of a sudden I saw the ball turning and the lights flashing all over the place. So I get out of my car and sneak into my back door, and it's pitch black, nobody can see me, and I go right up to the barrier. Everybody is having a disco. They're out there going at it, rocking and rolling, no skates on. They're having a good 40 skaters on the ice. But a guy by the name of Jeff Note spotted me. And he goes, "Geez, is this Luddy?" And the whole crew took off, the lights went back on again. There wasn't a soul in the building, all hiding. You know, and those stories go on, and they're just great stories. And they just go on. I can hit everyone here. And those stories, you know, they all claim they're so innocent. You know, poor Mike D. I mean, Stacy was involved in that one. I was given a lesson to Stacy and John. And Michael D. was a real character, and we used to play tricks on each other. And he went and took some inserts from Hustler magazine, Say No More, and had them pasted all over my box. And I looked at them, and I just knew, and I looked down at the back of the rink, and Mike D. was working as a night watchman, and I see these two eyes peering at me, and he was nearsighted, so he had thick glasses. And I said, yep, that's what happened. So I had a friend that was a police officer. So I said, listen, I said, I want you to do me a favor and arrest one of my skaters. I said, what I want you to do, and I made the mistake of staying in front of Stacy and John. That was my big mistake when he came in. I said, I want you to arrest him, put him in handcuffs, take him out in front of everybody, and load him in your car and drive away. Okay, he said he agreed to do it. So, the next evening, sure enough, in he comes down to me, and I've got Stacy and John on lesson. And he comes down and he said, okay, where is this guy? And I said to John, John, go get Michael D. from in the snack bar. So he goes down and gets Michael D., and Michael comes down, and he doesn't know what's going on. And Michael say, he's ready to say anything he can. And the cop says, "Your name, Michael D?" And he says, "Yes, sir." He says, "Well, I have a warrant for your arrest." And he goes, "No shit," like that. Well, when he did that, I think it was John Summers slid down the wall onto the ice. Stacy bent over, or vice versa. I'm not sure what order it was. I had to turn away, and I blew the whole thing. But I lost that one. And look at Mike D today. He is the chairman of Morgan Stanley, the Asia Financial District. And he married the daughter of the president of Shell Oil. Isn't that sad? And he lives happily ever after in his mansion in Asia. I feel so bad for him. But it just shows, here was a boy whose mother called me on the phone and said, "Listen, you gotta get him to go to college." He didn't want to go to college. So I sat him down and I said, "Look you got some tough competitors. You were 7th in national. But look you got Carruthers, Prusacs, and this one and that one." I said, "You got a ton of good skaters." And I said, "But keep up the skating and let's get going with your education." So what he did, he took some courses. He got into Wharton School of Business. And he graduated from University of Pennsylvania. I'm in Europe on a competition, and there he is in a 3-piece suit with his umbrella, trying to act very British. And his mistake was the person I was with was British. And so he picked on everything he did, and he pulled the umbrella apart and made a fool out of him. But that was Mike. And Mike went on to be very successful. And not only successful, very giving. He has put up an array of schools in Asia, in his country. Unbelievable what he's done. He came to visit me in Newark, Delaware, and he had his mother with him. He was going to buy her a new car and get her a new home. And unfortunately, she died about a year later. But he did do that. But he was a giving person. But these are the kids that I worked with. And I've always remembered that when I was a kid, I was in engineering, and I was a musician, and I loved both of those things. And my mother didn't like them, my father didn't like them, but my sisters were the ones that pushed me into the skating and allowed me to do it because it was something I loved. And I look back on it now, and I say, you know what? The thing we've got to do with these kids is make sure they have a passion. And I think you know what I mean. These kids have got to love something in their life. And in my case, I loved skating. And I loved it as a skater, and I loved it as a coach. And I still love it. And I will continue to do it. And people said to me, well, why don't you just go to the country club? Yeah, and drink in the morning, and then go play 9 holes, come back, drink some more, then 5 o'clock, drink some more. And then I say to myself, that's not a life. I enjoy what I do. I have no question about it in my mind. And Irina, you've got a young man here, and I would like to see you stand up. You were just a twerp when I first knew you. Now this guy, don't play golf with him, okay? Trust me. Don't play golf. What's your handicap now? I don't want to even talk to you. You can sit down now. But I mean, this is a kid who loves playing golf. Now, his mother is a skating coach. She loves ice skating, but this kid wanted to play golf, and Rock Manor, perfect. Because that's one reason I took that job, was because I had the golf course. I played that thing daily. I teach 2 lessons and go out and play about 4 holes. And then I was teaching 1 lesson playing 5 holes. So that's when I had to change things a little bit. But I think this idea of this reception is wonderful. And take a look around here. Look at some of the great people that we have. And what's so nice for me to sit back and look at it and say, my God, these were just little kids when I taught them. Like Stacy, you know, and God bless her. I adore her, but I adore all the kids, as they know. And they knew I loved them, and they knew I cared. And I still work with them, and I have a blast working with them. But I have the passion. And I tell everyone, have a passion. It doesn't matter what it is. You gotta love what you do. And I want to thank you for allowing me to get up and say things. And thank you, Stacy.